wisdom walking with the HATMAN, with a difference. We're sitting on a bench. It's so hot today, and we've come out to get some shade. My garden is south facing, and Harvey just doesn't know how to cool down, so there we are. Today I want to talk about love and warmth, and this all came about from last weekend when I went to a music festival, a Battle of the Proms. So it's where they're playing a lot of classical music. There were fireworks, there were cannons, there was Red Devils, there was a Spitfire. Yeah, it was all really good stuff. And I'm also going to go back in time to when I was a kid. A couple of thoughts have just jumped into my head as I sat down. So I thought I'd see today and capture it now. So the Proms last weekend, great fun up at Highclere Castle, where the TV series Downton Abbey is filmed. Went there last year, fortunate enough to go again this year. Really good time, classical music, orchestra, fireworks, cavalry and everything going on, and lots of people having a picnic, enjoying the good weather, drinking loads and eating loads. I was the driver, and I really enjoyed it. The thing is, in the booklet, they were talking about Tchaikovsky, the piece they played. It was his 1812 overture. Now, I don't know if you know, but Tchaikovsky didn't like this piece of music. He described it as festival music, and he was not a festival composer. He was annoyed about this, but he did the work, and the reason he didn't like it, more importantly, he said it was written without warmth and without love. Now everybody who's listened to that music since absolutely loves it. And for me, it was just another example of when an artist didn't like the work that they'd done. And there are some paintings that you may have heard of that have been x-rayed, and they found under the first picture another painting that had been painted over by the master. So presumably they didn't like it. And they just decided, right, I'm not going to have that one viable, and they probably a bit of recycling, they decided to paint over it. And I was thinking about doing pieces of work when I was writing material, training material for businesses, blah blah blah. And when I was in love with the job, when I felt the warmth with the client and the business, I produced amazing stuff. So I was really proud of some of that. But there were contracts and there were bits of work that I just didn't want to be on. And in that mindset, I just became a contractor. You pay me to do this, that's what I do. And if they asked me to do something else, I'd say, oh, if you speak with the agency, because my task is to write this material and not to do these things. So this is doing other stuff. Anyway, sometimes I would do this extra bit and other times I wouldn't. And then as an employee, if I had a boss who I didn't believe in, who I didn't think loved what he or she was doing, I wouldn't believe them either. And on those occasions, I just did what Tchaikovsky would refer to as festival work. But I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't done with love or with warmth. But when I did like it, things I've noticed, thinking back, is I could take direction really well. I actively looked it out. I wanted to know precisely what was needed, to what level, how and what, and this and that, and tell me a bit more about the other, And I think I became a bit of an arse at times, but it was all with a view to getting it done. As an employee, when I wasn't engaged, I just say, is it on my job description? Haven't been trained on it, don't know how to do it. Who can train me? And then I'll do it. And not the most grown-up way to do it, but it got me through. So that was okay. taking direction, I'm a bit pig-headed on that. I do have those who are close to me, I really listen to them and I do take their direction. But it's a handful. Maybe I should listen to more. Maybe I should be more generous in my thoughts concerning these people. I'll work that through over the next few days. But some people say we are who we are because of what we were when we were kids. So looking back, why do I not take direction now? Well, I did take direction, but not in the classroom from the teachers. Oh, that was, gee whiz, that was tough. But in the sporting arena, when it came to running, oh my God, I could run for miles. I could run everywhere, and I often did. I ran over probably most of the streets in Reading and surrounding areas. I ran at most of the tracks in the county. Middle distance was my thing, 800 and 1500 metres. Really enjoyed that. And I would practice on the streets, but I'd go out for half hour, an hour, 2 hours, just jogging, running. And I loved the quietness, the solitude of the long distance runner. There were no headphones or iPods back then. I think we'd only just invented colour. So you would just start running. And after I got my second wind, I knew then I was in my stride and I could go, and my brain would just go into different places, and I would consider this, consider the other, dream about the future, probably had a few conversations with myself. I know some of them would have been out loud as I'm huffing and puffing along the way. But there was a competition I was lined up to run the 1500 metres. And the sports master said to me, he said, right in the trust, he said, need you to run the 400, not the 1500. I'm like, what, why? I'm here for the 15. I do the 1500 metres. I haven't run a 400 metres. He goes, well, I need you to run it. Why? He says, oh. And it turned out that he hadn't put my name down for the 1500 metre event, but he could get me in the 400 metre because somebody had ducked out on that one. Lucky me. I'm like, all right, I'm doing as I'm told. And I said, because I like to run, and I said to him, I said, okay, but yeah, I'll run the 400 metres. How do I run it? How do I run 400 metres? He said, what do you mean? I don't know how to run 400 metres. 1500 metres, I can run it easily, I know it. And he looks at me and he said, okay. And then he just gave me a bit of a steer on what to do. He said, you can get down on your blocks if you want, or you can just stand up straight, whichever you feel comfortable with. When the gun goes, sprint. First 100 metres, give it everything you got. Get that second wind as quickly as you can. In the second 100 metres, what I then want you to do, I want you to start then focusing on your stride pattern, keeping it consistent, and then the third 100, I then want you to increase the pace. And then when you get to the fourth 100, hang in there. Hang in there for as long as you can. And if you think you're dying, hang in there, keep going. So I did it. And oh my God, about 310 metres in, I thought I was having a heart attack. My second one from my youth. I'll tell you about the first one later. But it was, oh God, it really hurt. All the lactic acid was building up. It felt like I was running backwards. The form master said, it did look like you were running backwards, but you did it. And the time I got was 56 seconds. Now for a 14 or 15-year-old, that's a fantastic time. And I remember in recovery, once I got the time, I said to him, I said, oh, that's 4 seconds under a minute. He says, yeah, well done. I said, well, if I can do that 4 times, I can get a 4-minute mile. I never got anywhere near a 4-minute mile. Maybe a 6-minute at best. But the point being, when it came to it, I did take direction because I had the love and the warmth in there. The sports master knew what he was doing, knew what he wanted me to do, he told me what to do, and I executed what he needed. I could have been a sulky little mare and gone, all right, and not asked. And who knows what would have happened, probably 110, 115. So I had an example at the weekend of somebody who'd produced a great piece of work without love or without warmth at work. And I remembered that evening. Wait, hang on a minute, I've lost the dog. Puppy, come here, you donkey. Yeah, remember that evening, that Saturday afternoon. It's some racetrack somewhere in Berkshire, so love and warmth. Where does that come from? It comes from your parents first. Now, without being critical, and it's probably different when the kids weren't there, but between my mum and dad, I can only think of 2 occasions where they showed warmth and love to each other. And it was lovely. One of them. Anyway, the first one, we're living in Windsor, in the Royal County of Berkshire. Did I just belch? And I must have been about 6, 7, maybe 8, but not much younger, not much older. And I'm in bed, under the blankets, tucked in with the undersheet, and I just had this pain in my chest. Oh, my mum was a nurse on casualty, by the way, so this gave me a bit of background for what I thought was happening. And it just got worse and worse and worse, and the pain was really painful to such an extent I started crying, and then I couldn't breathe, and I'm feeling all like hunched up, and it was an awful thing. So I got out of bed. You weren't allowed to get out of bed when you're a kid. I got to the top of the stairs and I called down, "Mum, Dad, I'm not very well, help." And nothing. So I did it a bit louder. "Mum, Dad, I'm not very well. What's the matter?" My father said. And I shouted back, "I think I'm having a heart attack." There was a little bit of a quiet. And then my mum said, "You'll be fine, go back to bed." So as I moved, the pain, another wave of it came up, and I just called again, "Go to bed, stop mucking about." And I was really in tears now at this point. And I thought, oh God. And then another wave of pain, and I really thought I was having a heart attack. Anyway, I walked down the stairs, and I knocked on the door and walked in, and Mum and Dad were lying on the sofa. They never sat on the sofa, let alone lay down on it. They were cuddling. They were spooning. And I'm like, oh. And my mum said, "What's the matter with you?" And I just burst into tears, and the sobs, and my whole body was shaking, the pain. And another wave hit, and I just jerked my body without any control. And my mum said, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And then my dad got up, and my mum asked my dad to pick me up and put me on the sofa. My mum then came to me and just held my hand. Said, "What's the matter?" I said, "It's my chest, my chest, my chest. It really hurts." "Where is it?" And I said, "On my left side." And I could see the fear in her face. And she said to my dad, "Mike, I think we might need to call an ambulance." So as Dad get up, I went, "Why?" And she said, "Don't worry, just breathe out, you'll be okay." And I went, "Oh." And on that relax, oh, I belched. I let out this really long, loud, deep belch. It just went on for ages. I'm like, my mum just looked at me in astonishment. My dad came in and said, "What the hell was that?" And I'm like, oh, as the final bits of air came out of my lungs, I said, "Oh, I feel much better. Can I have a slice of toast, please?" "Go to your room." That was the first time that I saw love and warmth. The second time, I must have been a teenager, probably up 6, 17, 18. Came back from school and Mum and Dad were kissing in the kitchen. Full on kissing. And I think my mum was up on tiptoes and then at one moment lifted her leg behind her. You know, like they did in the old movies. And I went, "Oh, what are you doing? Oh my God." My brother came running, "What's the matter?" "Oh my God." And then my sister came down and they go, "What are you lot? Just get out of the kitchen." And then Johnny, my little brother, came in and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "They're kissing." And he's like, "Ugh." But That's love and warmth. As I said, I don't know how they showed love and warmth to themselves and to each other when we weren't around. Probably when we were around, it was a perfunctory role, just something had to get done. And thinking now, other than some weekends, I can't think of a lot of times they were both in the same room or the same house. Probably because of the shift patterns they did. But sometimes the camera's on you. Mostly it's not. And it's in those moments, it's like, where's the love and the warmth? They said it starts maybe with your parents. I think it starts with yourself. And like the artists of yesteryear, I decided to paint the canvas in 2022 with vibrant and full colours. It's going really well. I'm in a really good place. I'm taking a lot of direction. I'm listening more. I'm watching more. I'm feeling more. I started today with a smile. Over 1 million people is it a week die in the world? I wake up every morning, I'm here. It's a good day. But what have I learned from this podcast? So, don't know if you've been for a walk before. Maybe you have, but something I can tell you is that the paths here today in 2022, they're more bumpy. They're different levels. There are roots coming through. They've got gas pipes being dug up. They've been built over. It's just not a level playing field anymore. When I was running, I think all the roads were flat and I didn't have to worry about my step. Now I have to think about my step. I can't run and I have to watch out for things that can make me fall. I stumbled earlier, nearly went over, stayed up. That's the chair we came to. We're in the shade. Sun is shining. I've got my faithful dog. Okay, have a great day. HATMAN out.